Alright, what's going on, guys? Today I'm just going to show you how to thread down this rod here. So I was running into an issue here with this second gen 24 valve intake horn. The stock first gen intake horn has flanges on the front and the back of the intake horn, whereas this second gen intake horn just has the short flange on the front, and then it's got, you know, these extended, it needs extended bolts on the rear. The actual sizing for the 24 valve intake horn is M8 by 1.25. You've got 80 mils on the front and then 160 mils on the back. So when I bought this, the guy sent me these studs, and they were way longer than they needed to be for the front and the back. My calipers don't even go that long, but let me just show you. So these, you know, these front ones were 140 millimeters, and these rear ones to the threads were about 200 mils. So what I need is I can reuse the front ones. They're actually hex flange bolts with the hex flange cap heads, and the rears I'll have to use these studs with some nylon locking nuts on the top. So I thought I was going to have to go to the store and pick up some new bolts. I was looking for hex flange cap bolts, but I couldn't find any. And I thought I would have to get a new set of these studs or something, or some all thread. But, you know, I decided to make it work with what I had and see if I could thread it down with a die. And, you know, it actually worked out pretty well. So the threads on the bottom that screw into the intake manifold, they're M8 by 1.25, and then the threads on the top here are 5/16 24. So it's actually pretty simple. I just took the 5/16 die, and then I just ran it down to the correct length here. So what I'll need is 160 in length with a bit of thread sticking out of the top, and that'll give me enough room to put on my nylon locking nut. So I'll just show you how to do that here real quick. All right, so it's pretty straightforward. All you have to do is just take your die, and if it's, you know, if it's got one side that says, you know, this side down, put it on the threads that way in the direction that you're cutting. So before I put this on here, I'm just gonna take some oil. I'm just using engine oil, and then thread it down. The nice part about this is the threads are already started, so you don't have to worry about getting it straight because these studs have already been machined. So when we hand die this, we don't actually have to worry about whether or not it's straight. All right, and this gear wrench die holder set that I have actually has some guides. There's 3 guides on the outside, so bring those in, and then that'll make sure that we stay straight as we run the die down the rod. All right, and so we take our, I don't even know what you call this, the die wrench or die holder, and then we're just gonna start to run it down and back it off every once in a while to clear up the chips. I've made my marks down here so I know how far I need to go. So now that I have cut both these studs down, like I said before, the long bolts, the stock long bolts on these are 180 mils. So, or sorry, they're 160 mils. So this is where the top head of the bolt would be on a stock hex flange bolt, and then I'll have a little bit of extra threads for the washer and nylon lock nut, and then I can just cut the excess and file the top, and then those will work for me, and I don't have to spend any money on new bolts. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Hopefully this helps if you're in the same situation where you've got a stud and it doesn't fully have threads up to the length that you want it to be.